The Ghanaian farmer farming in Ghana and dear Ghanaians, from rot to revenue, how Ghanaian farmers can win big. How can we win big? And it's a serious matter. Mene senior Steven Edin Komobi wechire na onso kandi onso wehuno echere me. Ose oko dominance market ehọ no mu de eton dua jene onions. Na according to him no ohwe jene a pro because omunya tofo a na areho oko navrongo garden eggs ene pepper pro ye tugu na areho oko kintampo the same thing oko bono the same thing oko kumawu side so a ne akomadan so a ntosi ni adade. But I want to ask you, the problem is big and it's serious big. Serious problem. And yeah, you see, we are not aware of how big the problem is and how serious it is. Dear Obefana say any problem, no, meaning say on as a long term. Ma se as a long term there, then the problem is big and it's serious. Because yeguso ena ye importo. Ena Ghanaian farmers is also a produce. But importation no over the Ghanaian farmers no day 80 ton. Adintra. The gap is too big. And measurement we no ansa na ebetimi solve that problem no. Ye here say ye be thinking as a long term. Say ye ka say ye thinking no as a short term there. Ye be find solution a temporary solution. But in the long term no, ye be say ye I shall see it over again. And un term no me ye shame or SOS. I'm a person they casafa on how Ghanaian farmers can dream big. Since some months over yana yashasia yakasafa bidding system, bidding legacy, how you can build a legacy or a system around your farm, how you can farm smart, how you can program until this as for this thing idea until say Ghanaian farmer be able to make all this opportunity na what bi na wo hu a obesi ya making ni niam no ye be koso akasa afa ho if we say ye hia say bedo more acres said ye dokra no ye ntimi nton anase ye nya market anase nya market kra na price ni correct. So ene ye call how Ghanaian farmers can win big. Next week Friday ye be call marketing, how you can market your farm produce like a pro. Inti edruwa eno so yebeka ni abohun dewro. Inti say afina waba no wadwani me a memwakwa subscribe mami na share video no ma foforo de invite foforo. If we say ene wo tie we ochenyampa wo tie foforo uka bomu na wanya wo system na ubetima build e wo farm no. Yinyina ye farmers, but edruwa bia we need to think smart. Okay. Mama yenshase. Mima ubiye bia kwaba. Ndas nyamisha nso se wakreke obedience. Na mami hu baby e free because you pese hu information nso so e wo Ghana. Said the marketing e koso. And obeboy ama yetimi aye so useful serviceable ama abusuafo nyina. Enti baby awuti e free no, uma ye hu na information bia nso so wo so na yenso enya. Said the we senior Steven Oma masote say dominance onions air pro for nothing no. Until mami hu maybe our comment section so no. Now today no we are going to expose how the gap it is. Na ye ka gap na me no may use this term as Ghana agro produce. Produce no may use as a production. Ona me dey no. Nti ene on to see this video no. Wo a wotie bibia as a farmer no. It's my prayer say ubenya some points bi wo mu a ubetimi add wo previous videos ya how to build system ni dem ani mani nyina no said be ya nso be ko anim because until the bones are rotting you know Ghanaian farmers this is what we need. I tell you fertilizer we another level, but before say you be fertilizer no you hear another type of knowledge here e be support because fertilizer na you up to now and nothing is happening. If you say you nyam be the system no so one be the system na ubeto fertilizer sa so one be the system no na when you the right knowledge na or even how to preserve your land na fertilizer no beto ni de bia enti de bia so no o farm produce no beba no o income no beba no return of income man na what you sika na o de koto fertilizer what sika na de koto fertilizer ni film wi a na sika na de akaketu we bi na yesa de wa break kwa na wa break kwa enti enemy invite you as a Ghanaian I didn't know me say gap Ghana and I say Ghana agro production before say yebetimi akwe enemo before we can solve this problem no we need to find our identity as a Ghanaian. Seriously. Before say yebetimi solve this problem no one here would bibi beko share government would beko share regional minister would beko share we obia wana famu de but me no de was here no say we need to find our Ghanaian identity na me maame bi di nkomo kroma say asmo ka chem say me hwe Ghana na me yesu adintra o say aka second passport in a Ghanaian fo nyaa na yekoye nua ni die mu dia ene ye ni obia na ye te say de te outside am tell us anos pa chechere memu osmin chiro mo ye bi bia no ye see the free amanoni bana brochiri ban ene ye na the ye produce ni de nye so as a Ghanaian ye betra se na ye kwakofa JN free Burkina Faso ene enye se bi enye me ye kofa free na mempe o enye so obi ye na marketing na mempe but say ye jai akwakoya de na mum ye hu se at the moment na ye no ye pese di ye use nkofo niema na di edidi no near this edwane and this rani di bibia no then you become you be dependent abom e ho no betu gold sa so no gold sika no entimi nto niema wo hia. This is what ya ebi munti ase eni wo tu gold no anya sika okay by the time will come na wo land na say na wo nya bibi nto wo fie nie no aduane na wo de okobakokra no obi na ebe share price wo de be ma wo ye ebro ebu in abundance maize in abundance in Ghana but still now ye continue say ye the ye crap maize from outside Jane time so ye continue a crap Jane from outside intosi crowded yes and crowded in nka intosi so de nka tea tomatoes na ye di eni any awre ho ye di ye ni je shemu na ye free outside na nka kro ni din no what test you say in tea tomatoes no the right tomato span home kane no me kai pa se eyi be fie anasa na me ma me ye steward wo kom o ma me kotonto sini ba na ye twetwetwetwam na ye de gu apotowia mu na ye de gu sonye bi na wo de apotowia na otwi obetwe mu nso ni nyina na wo de stew eyemre de metiase but ke hunu se sa tiu tomatoes na akoto no kane na tiu tomatoes na eye na migidi but eni ni menyi ni bio ebi se emfaso no abehye adwere mu esene onipa ekra onipa nkwa se wudi local meaning se udo man no se wudi di local e kire se we dey uhwe oman chi dey. By the way mensaka ntino wo a open no me ni di wudi di nyanso na o share link no so ama afoforo na wo tun sa from say yeah dey yaba. To be a Ghanaian no, we need to steward our Ghana. We need to promote our Ghana. We need to eat local. Uliti local as well. It's not just choosing a food. You are choosing a culture. Who choose economy and who choose pride. Where is your pride? Where is your pride? And a bibiana a janine free outside and a woodie. How many Maggie and omudia frasa aduane na woodie no? Wundam wiemu every day. Se wo moja no, o blood pressure no ekosoro a aduane na wonam nsoso no, esa ma blood pressure so de ekosoro. Enye nnuane nyina ene boa ma Ghana. Saa so enye nnuane nyina ene boa ma obi oti US. Se oti US, oti UK, oti Canada, na se eduru nyumere 9 o'clock anase 10 na udi fufuo ma ni timi wu na akoda. Enche e di problem bebreo. But se o Ghana na se udi fufuo kra na sel kra so emmoa wo de. But still na no Ghana na udi fufuo wi a utimi nante, utimi kodi nkomo wo be bi foforo. Ansa na wa ba beda. Enti muma yehu ye Ghanaian ye culture ye wom. Na yehu ade a ebeboaye. Our identity no is tied to our land. Muma yen kai side way. Our identity is tied to our land. Se wo sesa o ketrema o de ka ana ye ba obotom. Se wo sesa o ketrema o de ka na ye ba obotom. If we say foreign food no ye tumu a ya to die mu. But se wo kopɛ bode na sesi atumu na se bloro fe binti ena ya na basa. Agro. A stand for agro. Adintina me see ene ye kasafa agro no. If we say crops, animals, and foodstuffs, you know, and your commodities, like I said, MC can a culture. A culture. And he said, ye Timmy saw your culture, ya, and you say, yes, shay entirely and corner, and a culture. And you say, ye day, yes, share a channel and corner a culture, and I see a catching. You can identify yourself even through the woody. And you say, ye kwa bruching kwa, and ye correct a African market near Koto, Ghana, near the ye dedi. Enti Mr. Mwada, ene dey, ye nyina ne ye beka sabom because asemo ne nyame nkwa me dia. And I'm say a serious matter, but it depends the angle who sa matter no, and sana what man will say asem is serious or not serious. Because they won't take only critical thinking, no. When you say this thing, just a be a inframe be never. But it's a who use critical thinking. Now what trans now we analysis, now study na in strategized way now, you will see say this problem is a huge problem. It's a huge problem. because say yentimi am valorize anya am value e wo ya agro mu na yentimi am value e wo ya agro mu na then edie na ebetimi nya production anyhow. If we say and last time you senior bako ye sunflower what ye no say any aje so person sunflower be. But where is the problem? Apen also the yesre farmers so media the sunflower the amano and said ultimately the aqua production. But just think he say e ba here no enanka ye Ghana no you do sunflower dada nka woni problem. Tea tomatoes ye kofa bano ye won tosi ho. So are you telling me say ye nimu bi any way betimi aka ho bom as a cooperative and as ye nimu bi betimi aka ho bom as a partnership ye ntimi enye a sustainable you can say value added you can say a tomatoes a factory just a little. Say who produce ade now ade value now, that's where you win. But it's who produce just a raw material and there another person and a determine the price for you. Nansemu ho omo de emre bi bai eto China for so and China for say and a sanity there yen so yemfa you know chips na chip na you use so ye electronic system no parts no yemfa mamo. A san say China ni produce no and also so here ni production nti no utimi ye dey utimi ni omo twen US and China for ni nya asasem. But me no me no say ne yakase soretia another a country bia just as a country no ye hia bibi efri ne ho yentimi because I okre bro efri Burkina wontimi Burkina for nkasa abra betima kasa okoma so a kire no. Ma me fa di we nkire we solar dryer wo hwe panel na kakra bi oni bonye den. But se wotimi enya wesie bi setting up no de mitimi nkire wa manto ebehia wo yekromo. But se wotimi setting adio kakra bi na wo use solar energy no na timi de dry ye full staffs na, then you win the market. If we say every time biana enkofo nya ameko no sa time na ameko eye dey eni ho no wo dry pepper ho. If we say die omo use awia e de dry no se nsuo to a omo nye dey omo ntimi hatem nti omo ahwekwa na ya de na yakosai. But wo die wo use solar energy nti no every time biana no eye secure enye open space. Mama, just one example. Another example, ye ko maize so no ye wo mmere a obetima ye aye. So mmere wi na se wo ye de wo share ebru na obetimi aton for individuals for koko pampa ene omo beka banku and so on. There no you win. If we say one kasa na udua and one kasa na prepare na wo de the oton. They said o si pe na the oton. The system gap no ya de bia. Mami kan chiro say the heart of all the crisis na Ghana no enye se farmers no ene enye dey omo modern obi a oye adwuma oye farmer Ghana bia metu chema no if we say enye easy sika ekomo no enye easy unless say wan kasa na oye wa de ene na wo depend a rainy system no kwa de ne wo de kwa wasem na say. So enye market for no enye se enye farmers no ene emo modern But we need two systems, the one from the political side and the one every time the America say we are building a legacy, because when you want to build a legacy, you think in a long term. Thinking a long term, now we share be also a daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly. Nti ka say problem Ghana problem no enye problem a eye problem keto bi a ye beka say ye di ho agro say ye pese ye ni bre a menu mi nya ye wo ya fam a wo say ye enu tira pese me to me nsafre wo me de link ne to unso bra be kire wa adwene ba bi awo problem na wa hu no na ye hu how e be say solve problem no na ye hu how e be say dey solve problem no. Because your voice matters. Your action builds a legacy. Whether you are a farmer, entrepreneur, or just a diaspora investor, this is the moment. This is the moment. Excuse me, Adoso. And it's not going to be easy. Yeah, I know, because Sikano Ekumoema until so besha se woton. But they say ukom with planning na ukom as a serious nature opese ushan uya na enunti na no last week ka mastery no so utimi kom as a sano dia then you always have an option to get out from the problem. So it's not true say ye kofani free China, Burkina, Russia, Ukraine, and all these areas in cover grains in any sanya maniama no any yekas frozen chicks, It's not to say we don't have an option. We have an option. Local produce, a legacy. Foreign imports, and yeah, we are catching them say system be na the won't so would depend will be economy so there, then that economy will determine say so today, what future are we choosing? What future are you choosing? Pharmacy, I say, sorry, a market area must say. So market area must say na it didn't know her. To you, system be ni betima creative was our market area must say. And one question me the man. Brana and now link so never better wide. System be and ye betimi a genaswa, ye betimi a changing yama, a bema I so easy, ama the autumn yama, any the ones so dear. So system to win, no. A idea. I will say the infinity idea, bro. If you say here a scalable system, you hear two so you bet media the aka story. Onboarding rituals you be in every day. And may Bob aka promote yama minimum and say this sackmark every day or pursue the oye. Every day or pursue the oye. You ala safari, you pursue every day or pursue. That means editorial system tools, or you should know a canny story. In this Okotodianina, Unko Jinafa, Akunka Jessa command price bia. Because of the passion the air dynamo. And yes, he can than in so. Moma form cooperatives. I am building resilience. Because hustle alone is not enough. So rely on systems so you win and build a legacy that last. Inti ene uko Facebook wa ene at least YouTube channel so am postu because your community tab wa utimi postu nyama like Facebook pepepe. Na me chere se Ghanaian farmers no enye se bia omo ejuma omo ye no enkoso omo bo omo modern pa. But systems no ene eko against wo. Systems no ene emo wo. Na systems ne mo omo a yen twen se government ne memaye problem solve problem no ene ebi mo so mo ehwe fertilizer free of aban ho anti fertilizer President John Mahama ma fertilizer ma fet na odi ma wo no wo di fet nko gu fom wie na se produce ni ba na wanti me anton produce na ede na wo ye ayeka last year rice production areho Joy FM the buy and the Ghanaian farmers so ede so last year rice production over tons and tons of rice and ede ewo ho aye ntimi ntoye omo ntimi ntoye but this year no o ma say dua rice ni bio. So I'm asking you, last year rice, this year rice ewo ho. Last year then they okay already. This year so more harvested. At the Bible can last year they know. But Okhabwa, we are still importing rice. What is the matter? What is the matter? Edi entina basa, mi pese mi hu, chere mi mu. Because bag you know ya chere ho perfume. Enti anase say. Anase bag you know ya chere made in China, made in Thailand, made in jasmine, or so and so on. Intina ama yegusu a ye kra emoba na ye mona ye duan last year kra no tons of no ego ayintimi ntoye. So are we telling us say yentimi ndua mo wo Ghana anase dua mo na ye mo na edua na Ghana no ye ni nye ho anase yempe anase yentimi nye ni yentimi produce ni yi eno ntina obi yempe na me pese me hu me pamacho. Me pese me hu se ye mo na ye dua na ye ni nye ho firi se omo produce no eno mo nye ni ye dia then I was say ye ehun another program so ma omo si betim kwa ni invite wo momra no mo so ma kire omo so omo side because mission no ne free bibi asante mo enye tribe asem na America but mission ne free bibi asante mo ne de no anwa mo o de no anwa mo de eno aso de begu apampan mo na wa tretre mu no ahwe se buo bi enim no anu anwa de na wodi hwehwehwem natural flavor ene no mama yede aduane. Let me tell you one thing. Se wo pese wonya hair for. Let me give you these two things. Maybe one day you talk about it, Prophet. So pese wonya hair for. Shase nede edi made by God. Made by God na make no. Onyankropon aduane na shase edi. Eno nchese wonyale o, but you will limit it. Made by God no, mami chirechire mu. So pese udidi a fruit a yeka no. Fruit no what if free eduano so na udi a made by God. But the moment ya yede be kokoshe can ne mu na ya can ne no na yede substance ya timi no enye made by God bio. Enti eno no sa de no e won consequence e wo so wotokoso di a anase se wo tranye ye na konya bad product ya sana yeba yensu no mo nso so a esitie efri se eni no obi didi a obi kwakwaje ne fried rice ya na waje ne Red Bull na odi si nchen na o no made by God ensio. How many times, how many liters and a day? Openi bia metie no kan was it before say me day made by man ebe come no na ma hwe say me dey manom 2 liters of made by God. Until today me dey see I say, and I want to tell you say we have a choice. Yeah, we have a choice. Your action be the legacy. Join the movement. Eat Ghana, build systems, win big. Nobody is going to win for us unless you are intentionally. You be share say by day. You be call. You be move. Yentimi importo everyday oil, rice, be any expect say ye industry ebetimi ide aso jinemu na ya fa young boys amomo ejuma. No, never. Onyamishra say oni utoko so awutie. I'm mpa ebo no say yenwie program we no na wo bibia wa fa free mu a nso so de be dey odi bebo obra. Eno ntina me kan no me de me wo me fufuo na nso e nyame adoma next week ye guso na ye be guso anso we will talk about how to market your farm products. Said be avoid the problems we prepare. Until next week, my essential share link ni pia share fry aneba share nedi ho dance senior comment mpacho me mo kwa.
Yo boss where the major also mecha woni abushafo nyina
Me pacho obetimi ama voice kakra koso me say
oh sorry pacha design aya kakra na hwe me volume pacha clear
pacho correct me too.
Okay,
That's
where the kafra abushafo mecha obia omo waso ene me mpanimfo nyina ya salute mu. I think say eno anu meka and unkoma wudi no before say manage ho. That is why I'm a force ro. Nti eno anu meka say bibi ohonom na kwan dem nso de anane. Say bibi ohonom
e kwa dem so pesa ultimate kasa.
Oh, okay. I think say may use this opportunity na me dey asidama and then platform ya why ya bribia ya ba han ma ya ba bisua bibi and who say eboyen na the American say me hu ni say dia wo kan nyina no ekwa so na ibenya revenue from the rotten ekwa so na Ghanaian farmer betimi be fa obewini the edikan mindset. The funny said the edikan mindset. And I think that right now put the study and first the who farming no right now I can say there is a change coming. because the rate at which, as you say, me who's and Crawford as man, there is a change coming. It is a farmer and young crass for ADBU. In Jimmy say Essa. But the farmer now will produce a be or complaining and answer what produce and tower produce Niama a roteno. On one can here a change of mindset. Because on Juni Bibi who not Juni yen say Bibia or baby and say be will be and a trend is a one you see and answer one you see. One of the things Mimi Hun say as a farmer be a church and all the solar dryer and any manema a buy. Inti say be a farmer or hanum nas widening and tin CB biswa, a say no, it me chile bibi. Any produce in Ghana be a which me attend no at the IBB. Inti that farmer out there no. As so shall see in your sergeant and say, Samayena ebebu na se minya atofo dear ba dear na metimi ayeno. Eso no nkasa timi shase se wo dwene because bibia wo be shase se o add value to it bia no. Edisika ebeka dia wo ye no. And eno kra no se we are eno kire se what diversify. It would that same farmer no utimi ton bi raw and ultimately add value na waton bi. Na baby I na me hu your problem kese warning na say ayana ye feel say bibi aye bia no ye hia sika kese bi na ye de ahyase. Eno ne your problem kese. Obia de hye ne trimu say oh esa ban bi na ma ye sika. Sa ne ma nyina ye programming, a mindset issue. Oh, and I buy wine and I buy fertilizer and I buy nisi, enti. That 10 biano, you identify bad things and you associate with to be. But yantias, yes, we as human beings see a excuses bebrea. The excuses now, yeah, man, but my feel comfortable. Inti basa, am I in pushy see a bequenim? Before that, this is the time one. As a farmer be so we see BB AC wo kwan ana say we see BB air cost ntia mo ama wo nema bi enko yi a bisa ho say sa problem na wo hu no de ba de na betimi be ye wo problem ne ho ibu on manya adding value nko a e bia wo kra no wan kan ko pe we say enkrofo abe supply wo nema ne be mo enu nti na ama wo nema no essay wo necessary research bi e say wo ye one yenti enu na ema no essay yeah ya kro ya see pe aduane yenduane aduane emuso but if farmer bi etimi san ba be ka say oh afie say da me hwe ne ema no amanfo odua sa de we dodo enti wa wo be communicate yi a na me fo say sa farmer na nkasa na adwen ekura no enye see yes ye pe ekro ni yi o ba say ne yes san ba be ka say bumper harvest be benti me ma ye nnua Intinia pay your crony ye no ana debi. This is where I see a nya dream for senti dine ye bet me bet 10 and a bay. But me fire name to a by bia so. A by bia and to me ye bibia and farm mount. Ye baby a free no or be a dream interest and home but ye see a pay changer. Ye see a pay changer. I see a chance ye say a bedroom as we. Team building. We should move as a team. We don't have to move as individuals. People claim say we are under this. We say yes, but within it, no be an individual on them. Ubi an amne kwine. Umusa wodi yes a crowd on person obeso muna obetiagina obebo abemane bejina. And that kind of mindset, a programming be a akayeso. Into with our farm and any money, it's all about adding value. And I think sir, if Brad Charles were the main campo, the I'm person me Kenya and said, you don't need big machines. solar equipment na brachas betchere no untimi nto solar na no nkyere se untimi nye de sese woye fiti 1847 de ben ene ye chance ye dry cocoa ewo apano so enti ade ntina wo nso untimi bibia sese wo dry no untimi dry na beka se me twen solar dryer afina abedwene we 20,000 sa 20,000 unibi enu be slow enti den na wohia bia wohia tapolin wo fie honom da ho deja family house ni finfi on da ho wo produce no dry wo so then bia na ye fo se ye ka se ye modernize ye niema bia na se ye kofa machines akasie bi bansa na ye hu se ye adwuma enye sa na ye adwuma. Sometimes when you you just don't have to show off. When I name the about bottom, if you can start small, then you build on it now. Every produce in Ghana, you claim it's a you can turn it into something. And I think there's something coming out. But just mommy, that chance, there's something coming up. Yeah. Oh. There's something coming up because I've been on so many platforms. So and in I've had so many discussions, and sadly way I'm coming up with a book. It's in the pipeline. You get to learn, you get to know simple. You don't need sophisticated way to start something. And almost one in Crawford famia, discourage say men ye diadoru ye we do sancrophone that different change of mindset. Because on one dream than it or pesa adiano a short to non wetimia ton onboarding. So see a pecroni ye nastala ye sell crass I dream we no more, ye sell crass I dream we no more, a better than a cronet miacoso. Si yetimi ye ma de no ebebuso na yetimi standardize your price in ye niema ye nyina na beboa ye as a whole.
True.
Enti ye necessary ye adwin ye. There are so many things we don't need sophisticated machines ye need niema huhu bia or regular knife or regular greater na eda wo kitchen hono eno na bia be the beginning of your factory. Nienjai say ye pelon. What you the farmer now will say wo pelon. Wo farmer now at the end what process be that. Dear bad the na wo jina so. Now the investor out there no kra be hu no aka say oh no kra ubetima yes adwuma no. Uni bibia enti be den wa convince we no wa convince investor bia obeti ebu on obeti just the man for keke no be so ba be invest in sani panonya investor ti Jamaica nyina say in kakra I know say we will get there, but this kind of teachings, this kind of near discussions are air cost no ebe changing. Intimidate me encourage obia you see a per bumper harvest. At the end of the day, yeah, you toyare the amount of farmers. The country. The amount of fertilizer you see for good the amount of a drawer you see for farmer and more. Forgetting say we baby dibi wona na bibe dibi. Who basically at the end of the day now will say the people around you. Inti bibia yesu bia and yensu the best way. Man mayenko ye greedy. Ni leave a better legacy, I leave a better legacy. I think some manuesi ujami ameka sama na broso because nema bebre ho na me for someone so maba no almost set me a trauma dream. But I see bebre ni abema.
Yeah. E was for ade ba ko a me ereje senior committee won say also say me kasa e passionate mo no. Edru pa me san hwa na for me kasa na obo say bia me harsh and I say but mentisa but ohu ade na wora aho nti ne basa na o eka anko no ha ka anko na ka bi ade saa de sitie pepepe enti se de senior kan no book ne pipeline edu ho na ye beda na di ama obia so inside the akane de but before then no oko strategy for bees ya me de beto work na senior comment no ankasa YouTube channel eho wa chire niema bebrebe ewo how as entrepreneur no niema bo ho a wa adwene ma so but ehia enti no o subscribe na uko na kohwe bia eno so bebo na wa comment no I like it e basa na share no so etimi ma ne ye etimi ye so ma for YouTube so share e ma foforo enti na de o no sinya comment na ade ne de ababeto so no be hu se ye nua be ma opani Mr. Steven so Mr. Steven na me tire o message kura wo mu se obetimi abe share also so sa ideas na wo kan so na se experience na hu ye so a nke so any beje because sometimes you know na you can say Thomas see is believing yana o kan and be muntiase senior akwa bampacho
Just Majo.
ya eja pacho bokodi
Domnia the cry muka
yo ele nyamiase
you raise there, that's an church power day by.
yemfa ya seda me nyina
You for the swan a use. So I said, somehow can dear, baby, now that you know. Go say, make a coye a fool now, no by any baby now, feel it on a quay be or be good them up a prodia. Now, all the same, no, so said the senior commit a kind first of all, your mindset, a problem. And he has elaborated much on the mindset, so main kohono. What I will also touch on a approach to a normal be. A chance Deviano we over anticipate. So we de sika womb, Matisse will be ye way, and in the mission we call ye be. It's onim the do's and don'ts no woman no answer what is emphasis I was no rem nti ano one say quickly also so at times you can akwa rembi afi okona okohunu what is actually there afi na na bamabu nti bu okrampo na obetimi aye production na we no nim market crampo also de ko ano one so what say ABI see ginger ana tomato ana say bia onion sika wom. Before best start, you should also get close to the market people. Or more be turn their amount. I also ben omo. Also show more uvia direct supply. Ubenya their amount. Now don't just wake up or say that's why brown no man cross no. Men sorry preocupe say yes ginger na say onion na we sika no sorry ye na wo kwa yebi. I also hunu baby a eba obeton no. Also who nipa bi at least unim say wo want man fa ne nyina akora na emu half bi de ebekọ uwi a also bisa ho say product na me de me nkwa kwhyem no ne lifespan sen how long na betimi a store sa produce na me ba be produce no because ebi ho no mo a ebi a 3 months long lifespan ebi ho no mo a 2 months. What it means is that a shorter lifespan. And within that time frame, no, it's either say obenya proper storage measures and answer overturn free ho, or you should have ideas or they ever add the value to it. If you are not able to add value to it, that means that the time is so a say. If you are not able to market it within the time frame, and also so a problem. If you don't have proper storage measures, and also so a problem. Just like since Kwamet ended, even the chemicals are used in production, the crown product non lifespan so. Ebia also use 25 kg of fertilizer for every 1 acre. Because of say yepe ye ho anya ntɛm or the 1 acre or the be a bear 75 kg. Sevi obenya produce no more. What you have done is that you have turned the food into toxic. What produce every a cabbage, every a carrot, whatever. What produce every, but what forcing no amana drew stage and anchor ends say drew because of the value, the amount of chemicals that will apply to a year produce no. It mean na ebe ba affect you if you are not able to meet the timeline outside the town. And because we don't do proper checks before we enter into something, no, always be a bepe support. Because it's farming, let me narrow it down to what I do where I have much knowledge. That is the rabbits, no. Somebody will call you, oh, senior, me person me a rabbit. Me ya obaba kwa. Obeto was actually the munyina we still baby ojina no ojina only adequate knowledge about it. What you know, but because all soon sika ho kwa fa so be wura mu nti no, obeto this kaki to be wura do make profit. As somebody be American farming is not for the poor. So pesca did this a ya yengura farming mu. So pay a quick time returns are and your farming. You will have to invest and invest, then reinvest before you start earning. Let me take the rabbit again. If you really want to start on a good note, you really want to start in a balanced way, I would say that time with the or high chance of fast or accelerated growth, you will not spend less than 3,000 cedis. At least minimum should be somewhere 3,500. And see, I don't know when you start on that note, and yes, all the 3,500 the next time everybody returns, the 3,500 will go into it. By 2 to 3 months later, we feed the best. So time now 1 year ready, so turn more than 3,500 no. That time no, you still have to put in another money so that you sustain the growth of the animals. The same thing applies to crop farming. Obeto land in the baby, obedua product na person udua ni nyina baby no. Maintenance, harvest, storage, even moving the produce from the farmland to even the storage facility or to the market, ni nyina beba to the cost. But obi won who say fa piaye dey say simple kra we nya bro back be the chef for ma. O the bro no be chef for. E be fifi aba. Hwan na betwa, hwan na bedo afu na say. So person kwa dod na odidi dia one plot e betimi aya ma. Na mom onkwa untimi nye 2 acre land, onkwa untimi nye 5 acre land. You will need a farm hand. You will pay for that. You will pay for that service. And I think we feel like, oh, let's invest small. Yemfa bibiki tuwe bi murem. Na returns never high. This is not magic. This is not illusion. This is reality. Systems. Until now, some comments me post say this one is absolute consciousness with systems and strategies that will help us to be able to curb the rate of how do I call it, damage in our production. So yeah, to me, I'm conscious of whatever that we are doing and taking responsibility. So yeah, train say I buy my yeah, obetimi akopie farmland area bia farmers bebre na wo hono. Ekwan nye. Adentina farmers mu nyina mo nka mo na mo excavator ma ne medu kwan na so ma mo. But omo twan say aban beba abeye kwan na ansa na omatimi move omo produce no. Eti kwan na enye ntin okofa aka ne se omra mefa wo no man free farm omra baka se kwan ne nye eti nka so esen ko je 1000 Ghana cedis a kwan na enye ntin obaje 1500 cedis. Meanwhile se ka mo keka bom na ka mo ye kwan na on your own and ka sa 500 cedis no and ka won e bi kwa ke nduru sa. We are over dependent on our authorities, on our leadership. Trust me, the leadership are not ready to do anything for us. Our leaders, they are not ready to do anything for us. We have to wake up and start doing it by ourselves. So you because what say atwen say government nebeba na wabesi storage facilities e dey amaye so odo abrowia ahanam na obetimi akwa store no kwesi obeto eno krampo no old store no you need to add some put some measures in place. You need to add some chemicals be prevent no from even going to spoil it. All those things will come with a cost. So we should be ready to bear every cost that comes along with it. And I repeat my comment that farming is not for the poor. Farming is for the thick-skinned people. When I say poor, I don't mean like poor like say but the poverty is actually a mentality. Poverty is a mindset. It's not about the money you don't have. A lot of people have money, but they are poor because they don't have the right mindset. It is the right mindset that will get you to get the attain the result which you want. So if you don't have the right mindset it means that you are poor in that aspect. Some people have the money, but spending it to so I didn't know maybe we have farming, we maybe spend this kaka with the farming. You have to spend it if you really want to do it. So I also won't spend it there, then don't even think of entering into agriculture. Because here we are talking about money. Put in and you get it. Even Yankopon Crow boy principles also give and I will give back to you. So you can't fold your arms and expect to get anything. The results will come from the work that you put in. For us to be able to get to the point now, you say you produce now, spoilage, first we should look at value addition. Maybe a brony and toy to me no yam ne more CB also when I said the day a me near the day. Ye be a bro some or bit me a yen I be see one more check. As in say, would you be a brony be good de mamma more no banchi yam be banchi more ye be conkunte nina for so. Don't just wait, say, oh, chance will be too much. A better from one about also. No, be a coaching na with the refi born so when Dumjano. Now, Fabanchi, me, and no aboka. As a form one in so to a gusuna pro. And the American said, we want to let me add this thing. A true maybe so we over anticipate for the pricing. On one himself, sometimes the reason why people rely on imported no money, it will be cheaper than here, you know. That's why the fact that the production cost near high, sometimes we overprice our items. Let me take us back to 2020 when there was a declaration of how do I call it? The stay home during the COVID era. People were selling Gary Oloka for 50 Ghana cedis. Gary Oloka 50 Ghana cedis that time, 2020. A tiba of yam was going for 120 Ghana cedis. Adaya, nipa, last market. Now last market now turn the same so be and ta. Unim see a cotton 3 weeks near Bano. Now by the pro. Oh, until dream we've been so. That's why I say you're putting in a lot of cost in now. Yes, you ensure price and say I do maybe a bit mitigate price no. And yet banchi bottle back open the betty a food canning little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. Ye boano kakra. Ebetimi ame ate yeka. First time na ye nyamfa so a enye hwe. Yes anko ye bie ma mfa so be free mu aba. Medasi Uncle Charles.
Wow. It was for nyame adoma next week. Say they made it to hono. Na made it to us actually no. Branding, packaging, storytelling, sell like a professor or a pro. How Kenya farmers can market their produce and win big. When I say win big, meaning you are doing it by your own. And you say by selling a raw materials. But step by step, yɛn nyinaa pɛ sɛ yɛnya sika no. But the problem is sɛ yɛn nyinaa bɛhyɛ ase pɛ. Obiara wɔ ha a osi planning ne deɛ. And sɛ wo planning no ɛyɛ short term one, follow the short term, but abide on the principles and the process. Sɛ wo plan ɛyɛ long term, sɛ yɛn mu nso bi deɛ nso so deɛ, follow your long term, but abide on the principles and the rules and the process. Hwɛ ɛna woanhwɛ nkwankyɛn anka sɛ deɛ woka no anaasɛ deɛ woyɛ no deɛ mfasoɔ ni so. Deɛ ɔkɔ short term mu no ne deɛ ba ntɛm. Deɛ ɔkɔ long term no ne deɛ ba akyire. Nti nyame yɛ adom a next week so many mistakes and yeah because ne nim. But this time there you are trying say by day you will make it na ya realign na ya take the right systems na here no ene no wo so mfaso. By the time will come na wo hwe wo chese wow me ampara na me nie na SDF fo bo omonyom no de radiase nti na ye de besia ye be kire busuafo mo amuba nyina mo amubeta ya kire na motie Mr. Ferris ma mesali what they say edin kasa bobo a King Babson yenko ni Mr. Rashid yeko Mr. Kwashi munyira obi bia oba so a osa free mu free say na wade ya e kire no sa ba betie so no Yankopro enhira wo Mr. se nyame yadoma mama me make say marketing no if you say every Friday bia no you better say ye dey birthday a process kakra by the time goes on a utie ochinyampa ne dance otie you know video so ba no hwe ebebo nti no nyame yadom ebebo modia na ye di videos so ye dey abe support life no se de be ya enye wontawantawa se nipa nyina be gya fa me kora na ye de until the bones are rotten because you rap farm move for sika kora na ne hu say abaye passion mai because sometimes yes sika na me yuram but e chire no abaye passion ma and that particular thing no na me dey radio say ye wo anuanom ani adofom a abre bia no obia nso so ba ebe kire na adwene bia be kire na adwene na se ne senior comment kan no na me kan na Accra farms nso so kan no before no I was here day yeah adwene say we always have an option. We always have an option. Price, you know, a man in the master key amount. Because so one here, ye di insure near the colors of ship agum, said the first neck can be a belly, na ye di no. Ye di insure near the colors agum, near the flavor of gum. na were na wadi ti busa ho se wodi abele eye waduane di everyday bia na ebebo minkasi me ni o me na misora me so bi but the particular thing am pese me kire no se wo to a busa se quality nso so yede ewo nti nyame ya adoma end of this month bayere are you ready yam are you ready fresh one do bi ohia bia no mama sonte nyame ya adoma catfish are you ready nyame ya adoma senior comment book are you ready ani ewo Mr. Ferris book are you ready dada woton bepoa awede ama watine me biase eje dudie ewo ho ni nyina yede ewo Amazon metaposu ewo Facebook moma yembede together yen support each other that support any meaning say o say ye ntafo no de first na me kra me ntia but any matia se you say esene ketrama kra no me de enti sa na sitie local produce a legacy you choose a meaning say you thinking as a long term when you mean sure I hope so one like video so one like it dear and some me to so no like it next share videos so ma foforo e be share nyame adoma next week but Tuesday and also Wednesday so no the video so be there ebeba join the WhatsApp community no any Facebook page no intro na mama say how we can
Oh, that be. I think so. Next week you share more. At least you bet me I share some of the produce no. Near my back community you bet me. Yeah, I'm for say bet me a boy. And the dada cry mo share SOS as a cramudi bit to tour. Unsana de do body any sign money better na. It is an emana. Inti I know say next week. Mona take it more time. That's the break.
Okay, so that's it. Ntiabusha for yedi besia emre eni homa ye kontufo na nsikwa so onyame nhira mu nyina ewo akomapa ne odo amode support SOS this week Facebook atwere amame o say audience ayade pa bibia me de beto bia ne ye like ne ye ma comment na mitiri mu ada mitiri ada say nkuto no na da say nwo a esi enyunu mu no nti me de nyame nhira mo ebasa nso a Facebook ana say YouTube comment no omo so no use eno ema omo de ekanfo ma foforo nti one mo akra no de fa koma no ye de eto I no show appreciation okay me dem wase nyame nhira mo link na to nti se wo pese wo gina so wo be me di nkomo 10 minutes bia as usual ye be di nkomo me bayire na you ready me board you ready me menken you ready me massage nso you ready and Jim Ron e kan no say don't bring me your problems but bring your seed as I seen e kan ti mo ma bye